guys, welcome to today's episode of Talking Decon. Today we have Kennedy, who you might recognize from all the awesome social media posts, who is our social media coordinator. She is got a very interesting and disturbing case today. Who'd you got?
So today I'm presenting to you guys Dennis Nilsen. He's dubbed as the British Jeffrey Dahmer, aka the Kindly Killer. And he kind of went on a killing spree in London for like 5 years. So let's kind of dive into him because he's a very interesting man. And yeah.
I like Kindly. I like Kindly Killer. I don't think I think that's way too nice of a name. They haven't even told me what this guy's done yet. I'm also not a fan of the name.
I don't think those two names should go together.
No, right? No.
Kindly and Killer.
Yeah.
Well, they say it's Kindly Killer. He was dubbed that particularly because he thought he killed them in a more humane manner. A lot of it was strangulation, and that was kind of it until he dismembered them. They were already dead.
Yeah, until he dismembers them. like that's a big until, right? Like I was very humane with them.
Humane would be Dexter with the injection.
Yes.
Sure.
Right? But yeah, I don't see a serial killer as being humane.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, he did also, a lot of the times, he lured them into the home and gave them food and alcohol and drugs.
Well,
So he fed them.
That was kind of
That's
nice.
the humane part.
Kind of what I do with cats in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, not strangling cats.
Oh,
Okay, this is a problem.
Truth comes out.
Yes, no, I meant just the feeding. Edit this, Evan.
Wow.
That'll be the next episode.
Okay, so like most serial killers, Nilsen had a troubled childhood, I suppose. So he had a mother, and his father was a severe alcoholic, abused the family and whatnot, divorced. The father left at a very young age, and then they moved into their grandparents' house. So after he moved in with his grandparents' house, he formed a really great bond with his grandfather. And this is something that's going to mess him up further down the line because his grandfather went out to sea and had a heart attack on the boat. And they were like, well, he's like, where's Grandpa? And they're like, do you want to see Grandpa? And they showed him Grandpa dead in a coffin.
I like your presentation.
I know.
Hey, where's Grandpa? Hey, you want to see Grandpa?
Want to see
Come
Grandpa?
on, come
He's
on.
stuffed like a pig right now.
Yeah, so they were like, here we go. And he's like dead in a coffin. And then a lot of the interviews and stuff said that he strikingly, this was a very vivid memory of just looking at his grandfather dead in a coffin. So this was very traumatic for him, and that kind of set him up for his, further interest in necrophilia.
I always wonder at these moments where, if this guy's grandfather hadn't died at that moment in time, what path he
Where
would have
he
taken.
would be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think about that too, and there's something different. Mentally, I think there has to be something is just off. They're already predisposed for it, and this was just the
trigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Because most people, when they see their dead parent or grandparent in a coffin, they don't immediately think, wow, I'd love to have sex with a dead body.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
My grandpa died when I was younger. So my grandpa passed away when I was younger, and I was the one that ended up finding him dead in the house. I think so far I'm not a serial killer.
You
and
think
haven't-
so far.
Yep.
You just haven't reached that point.
I maybe haven't reached that point, but I was in elementary school, so I was still young. So, I didn't have that traumatic incident. So I think it's just something.
You got to be wired that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to need a lot more confidence from you on the fact that you're not a serial killer.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yes.
Because I can absolutely say I'm neither an athlete nor a serial killer. These are two things that I am not.
That you are confident in.
Yes. Oh, there's no question.
Yes.
When I walk into a room, nobody goes, I want to play basketball with that guy. Or I want that guy on my team.
Yeah.
We all know the situation. I believe that you're not a serial killer.
Oh,
I need
thank
you
you.
to feel that same way about
I
yourself.
agree. We need you to believe how we
Okay.
believe in you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
On a separate note, though,
How big's your forehead?
whoa, not big
I
enough.
don't think
It's
I
not
have
big
a
enough.
5
Not big
head, so
enough.
I
Big
think
enough.
I'm good. I'm good on that part at
But
least.
we heard about the lady that was doing embalming and was having sex with dead bodies and got pregnant. Right?
Yes.
How is that possible?
Well,
Apparently, there's a single load left in the gun.
He was full. It was a loaded chamber.
It was.
This is why you never play with a gun or a penis. Even
But
if
how do you
somebody says
get it to
it's
stand
unloaded.
to attention?
Well, that's rigor mortis, right?
Yeah.
Is it rigor mortis?
Well,
Yeah,
I think you have to
rigor mortis.
move it in that spot, though,
Well,
right?
This is true.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I don't
just-
know. You deal with lots of dead
No,
bodies.
I thought it did.
Yeah.
It goes at attention when you die?
I think so.
I don't
not,
believe so.
Not like that.
Not like
How
that.
does
Like
it happen?
it gets stiff, like where it's at.
Oh.
So it won't come up. Like if it's just
Yeah.
laying down, then it's just gonna stay down.
So if she raised it, would it stay? Or would it break it?
No, I don't think it would stay.
Well, then how the hell did she pull this off?
I don't know, but I'd like to hear her story.
Great skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that can-do attitude that we all need a little bit
That's
more
that
around
skill
here.
set.
You know,
that
but
you
I want
need
to
on
be
a
that
resume.
kid in elementary. Who's your dad? Well,
Yeah.
what had happened was...
My dad left after I was born. Oh, really?
Yeah, actually
Because
my
mine
dad
died
is
before I was
dead.
conceived.
Yes.
So-
How's that?
Yeah.
Well, Mom got caught riding the baloney pony when she was supposed to be doing some embalming, you know. But anyway, we digress.
Oh, ghost dad. My
Yeah.
ghost dad.
Ghost semen.
Okay, let's get back to it. Kennedy, not a serial killer.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we've established this.
So he saw his grandpa dead. It was traumatizing to him. It was like a very vivid memory he had in his childhood. And then after that, just, you know, throughout the years growing up, he was kind of bullied because, you know, people can sniff out that others are a little different. So he had some issues with his sexuality and that kind of stuff growing up. And then eventually he joined the army at the age of 15.
Yes. This is one of those moments where people are like, things were so much better back then when 15-year-olds could join the military.
You know, but
Where
I gotta
confused, sad,
ask.
scared kids could have a gun.
Yeah, this took place in Great Britain.
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
Somebody happens to be from Great Britain. Is this
Oh.
a very noteworthy case that everybody talked about, like Dahmer is to us?
You know the title, the Muswell Hill Murderer.
Yeah.
That is familiar to me.
That is.
Yeah.
He's one of the top 5, I think, the most like prolific
yeah.
serial
Yeah.
killers. in-
What year was this?
It was between 1978 to 1983. So
When
it
were
was
you
5
born?
years of a killing spree.
89.
Holy sh! Wow.
When were you born, Laura?
We don't need to talk about. Laura and I are very similar in
88.
ages.
88.
That one
88,
year
I don't know
makes
anything
all
about
the
this stuff.
I'm a Gen Zer.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so he's in the military at 15, being trained to kill. This seems like a good plan.
I was gonna say okay, boomer, but you're technically not that
A
generation.
boomer. Wow.
Yeah, this is-
That's usually
She
the
just
response.
added 20 years to us.
Yeah, she sent me a link yesterday on Teams. She said, "Hey, here's a new movie. You're gonna love it." And I click it. It was a trailer for the movie Old.
You're going to love it because you're already
Yes,
old.
it's a
Yes.
documentary about your life. Here you
Yes.
go.
You can relate to it.
Is this why you told me not to give her a raise?
That's exactly why. I was very clear about it.
Yeah.
I'm in an
shamed people the
abusive
office.
relationship with a
Yep.
coworker.
That's a
And I will
nervous laugh, that
continue
is.
to shame you.
And she will okay.
Yeah.
See, now I'm starting to be concerned that maybe you are a serial killer. That little tee-hee laugh, and then you're looking at me. I will continue to
Yes.
shame
Maybe.
She's just going to bully you.
you. Yeah.
Okay, so he joined the army at age 15. And then another very noteworthy thing, this is kind of something you will see in his killings, is he learned to very much heavily drink there, because in the army, other than, you know, fighting, killing, all that kind of stuff, they don't really have much to do other than drinking.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, so they drank a lot, and that became a trait further on in his life.
Mhm.
It seemed like he was almost an alcoholic. Well, actually, he was an
almost.
alcoholic.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
He'd get blackout drunk and murder people,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go.
I'm going to go with
Well,
yep.
he got blackout drunk after he murdered the
Oh,
people.
you're right. I'm sorry. That's right.
Oh, okay. Well, that
After.
precludes him from
I
getting into
feel
AA
foolish
at
now.
all.
He seems
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
together.
He's awesome. He's got it.
So during his time in the military, he got friends, so he experienced like a great sense of like camaraderie. He like felt he belonged in the place, but the only problem was his sexuality. So he liked a lot of his teammates and stuff. You know, they unrequited love. They didn't like him back, so he kind of felt some type of way about that. But another noteworthy thing that he did was he had his friends just like lie around and pretend to be dead. He made like these war films or pictures where people would be dead, and then to further kind of continue with that like necrophiliacism that.
Close.
He used to lay down in the mirror and pretend he was dead and masturbate. So he'd cover himself in like talcum powder and like powder him blue and make his lips look kind of like a ghastly color.
You Brits are weird.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yes, this is a perfect representation of British
Yeah.
culture. I
I'm
think
like,
that this
what
is,
the fuck?
Sound American ASAP.
Was he having a tea while he was doing it?
He could have been.
Yeah.
Probably had the kettle brewing at the
The
same time.
kettle. Yes.
God Save the Queen playing in the
With the
background.
biscuit.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's
By the way, I love that you call fellow military service members teammates.
Yeah.
oh, they call them teammates?
Oh, that's
No.
what you said.
That's what you
Oh,
said.
oh.
Yeah. No.
Wait, is
I
I
Their
like to
uniforms.
refer to them as friends in misery.
Yes. Yes.
well, yeah, so that was kind of just things he, did in the military. And he also learned a very essential skill that helped him continue his serial killing. He learned to be a butcher. So he became a chef while he was in the army. And then they taught him, to butcher certain animals, that kind of stuff. And that's another noteworthy thing that
But isn't a butcher different from a chef?
I feel like it is.
Yes.
A butcher.
Like,
butcher
I don't
I
see
believe
Gordon
so.
Ramsay slicing the fucking neck
like
of a
pig
cow
upside
and
down.
draining that shit.
Yeah, no.
No.
I guess maybe because it was like a while back that when he like joined. And
Maybe it's a British thing.
maybe
be.
it could be a
I
British
mean, the
thing.
two are
I have
sort of
no
You have
idea.
butcher
intertwined, but
butcher
they're definitely
stores like
different.
everywhere.
Really?
Over there, though. Yeah, like even to this day.
That's not right.
Maybe they had to like butcher their own meat. They didn't get fresh like.
Do you guys not have
Here's
grocery
ground beef.
stores over there?
Yes.
Okay, like this
I
isn't
don't know.
Amazon. Like, this isn't some weird backwards time.
It's England.
This is England.
It's England,
That's
which
essentially colonized the entire
Yeah.
globe
yeah.
and oppressed thousands and thousands of different countries.
Right?
But yeah, so he was doing that in the military. So he ended up getting out. I think it was mainly a problem he had. He loved another soldier, and the other soldier, he kind of realized he's not going to return the love. So he was like, "No,
Aw.
I know that's really sad. This isn't the place for me." Wah. So he left, and
He did that exact sound.
He did that
Wah.
exact
That,
sound.
And
that
then
was
he-
the point right there.
But
he
wait, I
became-
was told there was never gays in the military then, that this is like a new thing. Apparently not. At least
Well, gays are new in general. I
in
believe.
general, yeah.
Yeah, in
They
general,
just started
gays are
making
new.
them in the 80s.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Go figure. Go figure. Yeah. I'm one of the first few. Yeah.
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 You
You're
even
the
came with your own
experimental
adoption
batch.
papers and the
Yeah.
bottle. She even
Yeah.
pees on her own.
Yeah. Got a little stamp on the base of my foot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so he ended up quitting and became a police officer, but then like
Natural progression.
he
Sure.
had- yeah. So then after that he
The
saw
only thing left to be Laura now is a murderer. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
I keep trying.
So he became a police officer, and then he found two guys having sex in a car, and that at the time was illegal because gays weren't a thing.
Well, there was
then.
no gays.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was no gay. So
Uh-huh.
I don't even know it was two gay men at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, so he found two guys in the car having sex, and then he was supposed to turn them in, but he didn't because
Mhm.
guilty conscience, and then he quit being a police officer because
The benefits weren't good.
so he quit, and then he became a civil servant. But during that time, he would not patrol, but he would go to a lot of like bars and stuff. So that was a good pastime of his.
Like gay bars.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. Well, yeah,
Like underground gay
yeah.
bars.
So he would like go to bars and stuff, find men, hook up, that kind of stuff. Then he eventually met. So this was his first and his only long-term relationship with David Galachan.
G.
We'll just call him David.
It's a
David
long last
G.
name.
I think if we do a DNA test, Fiona might be related.
Oh,
It might be. It might be
Might
there.
be.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just call him David. So David was his first long-term relationship, and I believe they lasted for about 2 years.
Oh my God, that's like 20 in gay years.
Yeah,
That's
a long
impressive.
That's
time.
very
Actually.
impressive. Any guys that make it to 2 years, you might as well just hook up the fucking U-Haul.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they got a dog too, so that's even better.
Oh,
I know.
shit.
It's done.
It's done.
And they named the dog Bleep, and it was really cute.
That is a
Bleep.
cute name for a dog.
Yeah.
Bleep.
Bleep.
Yeah, they named
Like
him
Bleep.
Bleep because he couldn't bark properly. He like made like a kind of a whiny noise. Yeah. So they named him Bleep.
I think you should name your next dog Bleep.
Yeah. Think about
It is kind of a good name, though.
I think it's cute.
It is actually. It is quite cute.
Yeah.
Other than the fact
It's
that
very
it was
different.
dubbed by Dennis Nielsen. But
Yeah, then any neighbor that maybe knows this story,
Yeah.
is like Fiona's right, bleep, bleep. Oh,
And then when they hear her accent, they're
Yeah.
like, ooh.
She's English. Her dog's
Yeah.
named Bleep. She was born after
She's the
Nilsen
kindly
died,
mode number
and she
two.
cleans up crime scenes.
gays
Yeah,
ever made.
she's an OG original gay. She cleans up crime scenes.
Yeah.
We're moving out.
Stay away. We're gonna get the bleep out of here.
Yeah,
So they had a dog named Bleep, but a lot of times, so again, Nielsen continued this trend of liking to film things, take pictures of things, and he would make David record a lot of it. But during that time, like in the videos that they watched back, Nielsen was kind of a jerk. So he was arrogant. He kept picking out problems that David was doing. He was like, no, do this instead. You're not doing it right, that kind of stuff. So that was kind of like those videos, I feel like, was a glimpse to kind of how he actually, was as a person. Because a lot of people described him as very just like calm, quiet, just like secluded,
Introverted, I think.
individual. Yeah. But then he has like
He's
these
very particular about
glimpses.
his dead, naked photos.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very particular.
So he had him get in front of the camera, and they would act this stuff out.
So
And
not
then they
necessarily.
would critique it. Then
Yeah.
you critique him afterwards.
He would be like, David, don't live that
Yeah.
way. Put your balls to the left.
You look too alive.
You're too alive. Put the talcum powder on your weenus.
But I guess he didn't like the talcum powder on his weenus, so they broke up.
That was the breaking
Yeah,
point.
That's the name of the
that's
title,
right.
by the way. Talcum powder on the weenus.
That's
That's
it.
100% the name of the title.
Yep.
Yeah, but he ended up leaving him. He left him, and he left Bleep behind too, which is kind of sad because if I'm leaving the relationship, I'm taking my dog.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Yeah,
Bleep
but
with
also
me.
this guy's a dick, and so maybe it's just like I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude.
But
That's
even if
true.
he's
You
mean,
know.
I'm still taking.
I
the
lost
dog.
my dog in the last relationship because I wouldn't wear talcum powder.
Oh
I
no,
know. I know.
that sucks. I'm
Yes.
sorry. My condolences.
It's okay. I got Sammy Whammy now.
There you go.
Yummy. Okay.
Sammy's seen something.
Mhm.
So they broke up, and then he kind of went in this like downward spiral of misery. He was depressed, lonely, drinking a lot, went to gay bars again, and then eventually, so he went. So this is started December 30th in 1978 is when his killings officially started, and he found a boy, and this boy actually was only 14.
Oh.
He
Oh, like an
went
actual
out
boy.
there to go to a concert. I think he kind of snuck out from home and to go to a concert all the way out there. And then he went to a bar and he was trying to see if he could get drinks and stuff, even though he was very young. And then Nielsen spotted him. And so I guess there was like maybe a feeling of like, oh, this is an adult guy. I'm doing adult things. Like I'm in an adult world, that kind of stuff. And then Nielsen ended up taking him home. And I believe they slept together and they fell asleep. And then come time the
Like
you know,
naturally fell asleep.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Or maybe on drugs. Stuff was going on, but they fell asleep.
The humane
Unnaturally
way.
fall asleep.
Like was he drugged?
Oh
Like
no,
fall
he
asleep
didn't.
type deal.
This one
I'm
wasn't
not.
forcibly because it.
It's the British way.
I was gonna say, you guys are weird. I need to hear this.
So I don't know if this was. I feel like this wasn't premeditated because, they were laying sleeping. Next morning comes along, and when it does, he kind of is like watching him sleep, and then that feeling of, oh no, he's gonna leave. So this was something that Nielsen felt often, is the thought of
Abandonment.
abandonment.
Yeah.
His grandpa died, left him. His relationship
Boyfriend,
guy
yeah.
left him, and then now
It's
he's
a gay guy trait.
so now
Yes.
he's feeling that gay guy trait, and he's like, no, I want him to stay. And I guess his idea of like keeping him there, eternalized, stay with me forever, is choking and killing him. So he took a tie that he saw and started choking him, and the kid woke up and he obviously freaking out because like, I'm being choked to death, and then he passed out. So he didn't die. Then Nielsen realized he was still breathing a little bit and then drowned him in a bucket, but he was unconscious
In
at
a
that.
bucket.
Yeah. So he went, got a
Don't
bucket.
look
How is that kind?
Well, it seems really.
At
sad.
least
the
he was
fuck?
passed
First,
out.
he tried to choke him
Drew-
out.
He was
first.
unconscious.
Drowning and burning have got to be horrible.
Oh, they gotta be the worst. The
so
worst.
It's like
Oh.
it's like you're dying.
Yeah,
I'd rather drown than burn, though.
I think
I
so.
If I
think
had
so,
the choice
too.
between the two,
yeah.
I think so. too.
yeah, because the
shoot me
burning
now.
is slow
And it hurts.
and the skin, burnt skin, if you've never smelled it, is the
Mhm.
most horrible
Disgusting.
smell ever.
Well, I heard they
delicious.
said your nerve endings burn off and then you just end up stop feeling things.
I mean, eventually, it takes a while.
Oh, you think? Oh,
Yeah. I've seen many a burned dead bodies.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, car
Ugh.
crashes and stuff.
Ah,
Yeah.
They must
fuck
smell
that.
terrible.
It does. It does. It smells horrible.
Oh, I don't want to think about that. But
Let's get back to this bucket.
Yeah.
Like, how big was this bucket?
I guess
have
enough to
questions.
fit his
Home
head in
Depot.
it.
Yeah.
Home
Little
Depot.
orange
Home
one.
Depot.
Little orange
Okay.
Home Depot bucket.
Because the bucket, like, I don't know, like, how do you put the head in?
He's 14,
You're holding a
guys.
Oh, that's true.
He's not a sumo wrestler.
That's true.
Right? We're talking about a 14-year-old
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
So he drowned him in the bucket, and then he bathed his corpse. So this was another thing. So a lot of necrophiliacs, they have rituals. And so his ritual was he bathed the corpse. He got them dressed up. If they were older and they had hair, he'd like shave them bald and everything. And then he would pose them, stage them throughout the house, lay them in the bed, and then he would often masturbate on them because he didn't want to desecrate the corpse because he thought they were like eternalized perfection. So he didn't want to like
Wow.
penetrate them, but like
That would be a
doing
bit
little
much.
Rub was like
That would be a
alright.
bit much. It's a bit
That would be
gauche.
the next level.
Yeah.
You know, that's
no,
a
no,
level
no,
up
no.
right
Yeah,
now.
No.
like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
But also, why mess up the suit that they're wearing?
That's
Right?
true.
Yeah.
Don't
And
want to
then
mess
just
up the
leave the
clothes. Then
suit
he's gonna have to
dirty.
bathe them again.
Well, I mean, you just got your happiness all over his suit.
Yeah, that's a lot of work taking care of
Yeah.
dead bodies. So I mean, I
It
don't
is.
blame
That's gotta
him
be a lot
because
of work.
a lot of washing.
God,
That's a lot of heavy weight to be hauling around. Too.
it's
Yeah.
not easy to do that.
I will never be a victim of a series of crimes like this.
Oh, shit.
Steve's like, I ain't holding shit.
Yes.
I felt that one in the
Yeah.
soul. That was good.
Felt it in the soul.
That was good.
Are we ready?
A little
So
twinkle.
tell me more.
Tell you more. So
About
he
Twinkle.
bathed him, play with him, everything for 5 days, and then he was like, "Nah, this isn't it," and shoved it underneath his floorboards.
So he kept cleaning them and redressing them for 5 days.
And spooging all over him.
Yeah, well, of course. I
Of
mean,
course.
yes. Well, I mean,
Yes.
you know.
I always wonder how he like stored them because the body was there for like 7.5 months.
Well, let me
Underneath
tell
the
you something.
floorboard.
From a cleanup perspective, it's very, very difficult to hide that odor.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Like,
And like the melting,
and
body
the melting,
ooh.
and from my experience, short experience in London, not a lot of people have AC.
No.
So that means that he was exposed to the normal temperatures outside. He's liquidating, he's melting, the maggots are in there. You know, this is not a pleasant odor.
I couldn't imagine it be, and especially if it's there for 7.5 months, and then it's not just one body.
Like England doesn't get that hot, but like it
Yeah,
can get, like
yeah.
but
It's
in
hot
summer,
enough.
yeah, like you've got your radiators and everything going on inside the house. You know, which is just gonna cook it.
Yep, in the winter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And
even if it's not summer, it's still gonna feel like summer for the body.
Well, and he lived
With
in a
the-
flat. Oh,
And in that one, well, like in the flat that he was living in, he killed 9 more people and shoved them on the floorboards too. So
Same sort of routine, too, right?
Yep.
Like,
can you imagine the work involved in that? To lift
Yeah.
up your floorboards, because back then it's probably old tongue and
Like
groove,
actual
real
wood.
tongue and groove.
Yeah.
Lifting it up without breaking it,
yeah.
shoving them in the crawl space, and then putting the floors back down. This is a full-time job. Well,
great.
also,
Yeah.
when somebody dies, they're gases. So he probably either learned that the hard way, that the gases exploded him out of what they were wearing,
right.
and then
Yeah.
skin slip,
mm,
right? So he's starting to like, okay, now I know I only have X amount of days with this dead body before it's got to go underneath.
Yeah.
yeah,
It ain't pretty, guys.
No.
Nope.
it can't.
It
be.
is. Damn. You've never looked sexier than when the skin pulls right off your forearm.
Yes.
I've never been harder.
But and you know the funny thing is, so I noticed a lot. There's always like there's something happens where it's like, damn, they could have been caught, but they weren't. And this happened right after he killed the first person. So
The kid?
yeah, the kid. So
Yeah.
right after he killed Holmes, there was a foreign exchange student from Hong Kong. His name was Andrew Ho.
Idaho, all right.
Jesus.
So, so he brought him home, kind of same manner and everything.
See?
And then he
Yeah.
tried to strangle him, and somehow he escaped. And he was like, "Oh shit!" Ran to the police officers, and then just never filed a report or anything. And they,
Okay,
I don't think
listen,
they
the
investigated
moral
it.
of the story is don't put out on the first date.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gotta be safe.
That's what the story moral
It's
is.
the damn English people. They're so loosey-goosey.
Yeah, so he was able to escape that without charge, already killing a person, and he lied low for like a month.
Like in the
or-
floorboard? Like low.
Yeah, he's laying low.
Floorboard,
all the
though.
way
Yeah.
down.
Space next to the guy.
Mhm.
And then he got his this is his second victim. So his name was Kenneth Okadon, and he was a Canadian foreign exchange student.
Canadian.
He was over
Didn't
there.
discriminate.
Hey.
Go to the Commonwealth.
Found him at a pub. They connected really well.
I bet.
Oh, I bet. I
So,
bet.
It seemed like he really enjoyed his company. They were hitting off good, but guess what? He was flying back to London or Canada the next day, and then he got that same like, he's leaving me, and then he put on his favorite record, was like, put on headphones, listen to this, and strangled him with the headphone cord.
Didn't he end up killing, 10, 15 people? What'd he do?
Yeah, so he killed, a lot of them were killed. He strangled them. Some people irked him enough for him to use his bare hands. Those are kind of the glimpses we saw of him getting angry. So he's like, they came in and they fell asleep drunk in my flat. And then he strangled them.
Now that I can sympathize.
Sure, yeah. Party's over, buddy. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Not leaving?
Yeah.
Okay, done.
Yeah, so that kind of happened, but he continued on for 3 years in this first flat, the Melrose apartment that he was living in, and he killed roughly about 10 people. And then eventually,
Shit.
you said it's gonna stink. It's gonna really like stink. So the neighbors started complaining, and they served him an eviction notice. They're like, get out. So he was like, shit, gotta get rid of the bodies underneath my floorboards.
Wonder if movers would take them.
They might.
If I pack it,
You
will
know?
they take it?
That's what I'm wondering. Like beacons, how many can you carry?
So he dismembered some, he boiled some, he was like trying to
Oh.
crush the bones, raking it into his dirt, cutting them up, bringing them down with suitcases, and burning them in his backyard. And then he would take rubber tires
That's a
and
normal
just
thing.
Yeah.
take rubber tires,
Tuesday.
throw them on top of the fire
Yeah,
so
to get the
disguise
smell. Yeah, because it does have a unique smell.
Apparently it was kind of a normal thing because it was in the fall and they burned leaves in the backyard, I
Yeah,
guess.
you'll
So-
burn like any yard stuff.
Yeah.
Just make a pile in your
We
backyard.
have
and
what
burn
we
it.
call
The dump.
garbage removal. You guys don't have that, huh?
We do, but it's
Just
just
burn
I don't
it.
know. It's just a thing that we do.
That's a man's solution, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a real dumb man
It
solution.
really is.
We got all this garbage. What would you do with it? I just burn
Just
it.
burn it.
Just burn it.
Just burn
It's
it.
easier that way.
Should we take it somewhere and just put it and throw it away like in a dump? No,
No,
just burn it.
burn
Yeah.
That's
no,
what
no one will
my
ever find
grandma,
it.
when my grandma passed, so my dad's side of the family is white and they live up in the mountains, so I like to call them big happy redneck family.
No,
so
they
when,
white.
Yeah, they
They
white.
white.
So when my grandma passed, they did like a big bonfire, burned her and that, and then they just had
Wait, that's not legal.
It was like sanctuary.
Americans.
It was all good, and it was in the mountains. Don't question.
Let me guess, like West Virginia or some shit?
Maryland.
Oh boy.
It's all coming together now.
So no funeral, bypass that process, put Granny over the coals.
Was she
On the-
reported
on the
dead?
bonfire.
Huh?
Was your grandma
Oh
reported dead?
yeah. No, it was fine. So she was like cremated, but
a death
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have her in a nice urn.
So
Yeah,
Grandma got to the age that you get to in the
Yeah.
mountains, and we just pushed her right
Yeah.
onto the bonfire, and this is how we do it in Maryland.
But we have a nice urn with her, so she's. I have faith that it was a proper process. But there was a nice,
You hold on to that.
Yeah,
faith.
you hold on to that,
Yeah.
girl.
nice big happy redneck bonfire afterward.
Wow.
People driving cars through it, people getting drunk and fighting, rolling in the fire. So I'm gonna say it's a big man thing because it was all the guys out there. My
Yeah.
mom refused to stand by the
Yeah,
fire.
that's a hard no for me.
I'll
I will
stick
not
to the
attend one of
floorboards.
those. No. Mm.
Although, to be fair, that might be the best testament to my life that I've ever heard in a funeral. Just burned in a fire and drunk people driving over it in cars is probably the greatest
It's
testament
about as
for my
redneck
life.
as it comes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
Stay grandma mudding.
Jesus.
Like a weekend at
It's
Bernie's
like a
with Grandma.
sand dune. Just yeah.
My God.
Jesus.
anyway, so they were.
Anyways, is right.
Yeah. So he was kicked out of his place, and then
I'm sorry. I like how you throw out these
Yeah.
nuggets. Like we're saying, it's like, oh,
Like
yeah,
it's
no, we burned my
normal.
grandma in the mountains at a bonfire. Anyways, let me
Right.
get back to this crazy story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my family is very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
We'll talk about our
We'll
family
talk
on the
about
next
them in the next
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they, my family know. Nilsen moved.
family.
He had to move because he got evicted because his place stank. He burnt the bodies and then packed everything up, took bleep, and he moved into a smaller apartment I believe it was upstairs as well.
Mm.
So according to him, this was like, I can't kill anymore. This is what I'm going to do to prevent me from killing other people because I'm in a small apartment.
Nowhere to hide the body.
Nowhere to hide the body,
okay.
Stop me
everything.
from
And a
doing
building
it.
with
Yeah.
other people, a
Mhm.
flat. Okay.
And then he started stuffing them down the drains. Yeah. So,
What?
yeah.
The plumbing in the UK is substantial, let me tell you.
Anything can go through
Anything
it.
can go through it.
I've clogged up multiple toilets in my life.
Yeah, me too.
And never once have I attempted to push a body down one.
So he ended up killing 3 more people in this apartment, and another thing, he did the same rituals, got them from bars. He noted that these were people that hopefully no one would look for. So a lot of, prostitutes, people on drugs, that kind of stuff. So he ended up killing 3 people. He brought them back, did the same thing. These seemed a little more aggressive. It seemed like he strangled them more, and he kept them for less of time because, I've less space, probably less places to put them. And then he would boil them, both like the heads and stuff in pots. He would try to dismember them, start flushing them down the drains, all that stuff. And that's going to cause a problem because
Eventually.
people shouldn't be flushed down the toilet.
That's the ecosystem.
Hot take. That's Kennedy's hot take right there.
Unpopular opinion: people shouldn't be flushed down the toilet. So that's kind of what he was doing. I believe it was like a drug addict, a homeless man, and then someone else that he found ended up killing. And then eventually everyone's pipes started getting clogged because there were
Shocking.
Yeah.
human bits and pieces in them. And then they all like rallied together. We're going to complain. We're going to talk to the landlord. We need this fixed. And Nilsen was like, I will pen the letter. I will be the spokesperson and send it out. So he did that. And a lot of people say this is kind of his way of taking control of the situation because a lot of serial killers, they have like that big narcissistic ego. They want control. They don't want people controlling their fate. So I guess this was his way of his you. I'm telling on myself.
Yeah, but they called the plumber.
Yeah. So they called the plumber. The plumber's like, it's smelling pretty bad down here. It looks like there's something weird. And he was like, Nilsen said, oh, it seems like people are flushing Kentucky Fried Chicken down the drain.
Good cover, Nilsen.
I
Yeah, that's the best you
bones,
got.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks like, to me, it looks like a standard case of KFC being flushed down the
Yeah,
toilet.
that's a family bucket.
Yeah.
don't know about you, but
Original recipe. Oh, yeah, I know that anywhere.
Yeah.
so he ended up leaving because I believe it was late at night when the plumber went to go check, and he was like, I'm gonna bring my supervisor back because this may be some deep shit we're getting into. And then Nilsen got wasted and tried like cleaning the pipes and drains himself. So he would like put them in bags and just toss them over a fence, that kind of stuff. The funny thing is they never found those damn bags, probably because animals took it.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he was just
Wow.
yeah.
That exact sound.
So he was just throwing away everything. He ended up cleaning, I guess, for the most part, what he thought was substantiary. Went back to his apartment. They came back the next day with the supervisor, and they're like, yeah, this ain't a raccoon. This ain't Kentucky Fried Chicken. And then police came. They were alerted. They went up to Nilsen's apartment, and then he was arrested. And then
Because they found like bones and stuff, right?
remains.
Human
And they
remains.
noticed it was tampered, so the manhole was kind of like not in the same position. Yeah, so it was just like little things. Also, his apartment was starting to stink too.
Shocking how that
He had
happened.
heads in cupboards and all that good stuff.
Heads in cupboards?
Yeah, so in the new flat, because he can't flush a whole head, so he would try to boil it down.
Not a whole head.
Not a whole head.
Yeah.
And he would store it.
Just
so
the tip.
this
Yeah.
this apartment, I think, was he just can't hide it. So he was just putting things in random places. He opened the door, probably
So that
got
was
an
the end
arm.
of his fun.
So he died, or
Got
they
arrested.
died. He got arrested.
Yeah.
And so he told them everything. He
Mhm.
was one of the people that didn't fight, and he was like, I killed this many people there. It was hard to remember, so we're not exactly sure if he killed 16 people. It could have been more. But they never knew.
So did he get life in prison or death?
So he got life, got 25 years to parole, and then they changed it. So they were like, nah, maybe this is too kind. So they gave him life without parole. And then after that, he died peacefully from a hemorrhage at the age of
Of course.
72.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
at least he spent a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then, the really sad thing about this, Bleep.
What happened to Bleep?
Bleep was euthanized.
See, okay.
Why?
Yeah, why exactly?
Because
He had
serial.
seen something.
Yeah.
Well, no, apparently the reasoning behind this was because he had seen some things. They didn't think anyone was going to take him, and then so they euthanized poor
I
Bleep.
still get comments about that. When animals are eating on the dead people, everyone thinks that the animal's automatically euthanized. That is not true, people. Not true.
No.
They will do what it takes to survive. Humans have eaten other humans to
Of
survive.
course. Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
It's
euthanize
just
them.
survival
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
survival
it's-
mode. So that is a myth. That
Yeah, it's not like they're
that
gonna
happens.
taste for human flesh and start whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Wrap it up.
Yep, that was pretty much Dennis Nilsen and his fate, and poor sad Bleep's fate, and he ran a doozy in London.
Yeah.
He ran a doozy
Yeah,
in
ran a
London.
doozy.
He messed up the plumbing in London. Yeah.
Yeah, so
People say today.
thanks for watching today. And if you live in London, your plumbing is fucked, and it's not our fault. And Bleep is the real victim here. So thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Talking Detox. Why do I always mess that up?
Talking detox.
Talking
always hard to get out
Detox.
of the
That's what I
gate
always say. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Talking Detox. Why do I always mess that up?
Talking detox.
Talking
Always hard to get
Detox.
out of the
That's what I
gate
always say. Yeah. All right.